Okay, so for week 8, the three questions that I chose were how can ankle injuries be prevented? How do you manage acute injuries in the ankle region? And describe the anatomy of the ankle and what mechanisms of injury can cause significant damage. So, for number one, how can ankle injuries be prevented? There are some certain things that you can do to kind of help prevent any issues with your ankle. If so like before a sport, you can warm up really well, stretch, kind of get some the blood flowing, kind of get the ligaments nice and stretched up. So that way, that is one of the best ways to kind of help prevent any sort of strain or tear in your ankles, because your ankles are kind of one of the weakest spots. They're very, very easy to damage. You can condition your muscles for the sport, like I said. Constantly doing workouts, stretches kind of helps get them stronger, because those ligaments in your ankles aren't the strongest. Even though we use them every day, they're one of the easiest ones to strain. Choosing the correct athletic shoes, specific to your foot. Everyone has different kind of different kind of feet, I guess. Different arches. Some are flat-footed, some have really, really high arches, and the best way to help protect that is kind of making sure the shoes that you wear are proper. Um, Avoid running or stepping on uneven surfaces. That's kind of common sense. You don't want to run on somewhere that's kind of full of holes, a little bumpy, because that's one of the easiest way for your ankle just to flip over to the side, and it's unexpected, so you don't really know. You don't really know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen. But staying away from uneven surfaces like that is very, very crucial. And also build up your ankle strength. That goes back to conditioning your muscles for the sport, right? It's just building up those ligaments in your ankles. For number two, how do you manage acute injuries in the ankle region? There's two ways. There's two things that you can do: cryotherapy and heat. Cryotherapy is more like ice, basically. Cryotherapy should be used immediately after an injury, right away, so that way it doesn't swell. It doesn't really injure your ankle or your ligaments as bad, because right away you're trying to stop it, you're trying to freeze it, you're trying to help yourself out. And heat should be applied only to acute injuries, because there's where you want to help encourage swelling, because it's not the greatest. I'm gonna be honest. There's also another way you can manage it. You can think of the acronym RICE, right? RICE, R is rest, I is ice, C is compression, and E is elevation, right? So basically, it speaks for itself. You want to rest, you want to ice. I always like to say ice 15 minutes, max, maybe 20 minutes, but 15 minutes max. Compression, keep it nice and tight, so that way it's not all kind of like all over the place. And elevation, you want to keep it up, so that way it heals properly. And the anatomy of the ankle, the ankle is comprised of three bones, which is the tibia, fibula, and the talus. Right, the tibia forms the inside or medial portion of your ankle. The fibula forms the outside or the lateral portion, and the talus forms the bottom of the ankle. Right, and the way that this can be, the way that it can happen and cause significant damage. It can happen anywhere. It can, like I said, if we're going back to the bumpy fields, you roll your ankle. It can happen by stepping on a ball, stepping on another player's foot. It's kind of, like I said, you never know when it's going to happen. It can even happen when you go up for a pass or a jump ball in basketball. Even landing wrong. Even with the support on your ankles, you can still have that chance of rolling it and injuring it. And the way it can cause significant damage is that if you don't heal it properly and you don't, follow the steps, like rice, you don't rest, you don't ice it, you don't elevate it, and you don't put on any sort of compression to it, it can constantly, build up and keep bothering you to the point where it's kind of hard to walk on, and you kind of have to go through therapy to kind of help that out. And that's one of the ways that I can think that it can lead to significant damage to your ankles.